So it's looking like server transfers may inadvertently be hurting New World, and it may have actually just damaged EU, not beyond repair, but very significantly. Now there's also been a little update to the PTR patch notes, and that looks pretty exciting, but first we got to talk about how these server transfers are possibly hurting the game. Now this is weird because I'm actually on the server that is perhaps most affected by this right now, and I am on Midgard EU. Now I may be incorrect in this, but I believe that some of the servers were closed to transfers before these server transfers went out, and that was because these were the popular servers, and you know, Amazon didn't want everybody to just flood to those servers. So what have the players done? Well, they've all gone and flooded to the highest populated server that they could get on, and in this case in EU, that is Midgard. That just so happens to be the server that I am on. And when I say flooded, we were probably getting about 1,200 players after the server merges were done, but as of today, as most people were getting their server transfers, Midgard shot up to 2,000, and we actually had a queue of like 700 people at one point. And then the server was then closed to server transfers because obviously it was full. Now this has caused a problem in a couple of different ways. First and foremost, there are some guilds that were transferring over but haven't quite managed to transfer over because not everybody got their server transfer token. Now a little bit of me is a little bit like unsure if maybe the guild should have done that before everybody got their server transfer token, just in case something like this has happened. But you can read the forums, there are a lot of guilds that have done this, and now some people are stuck and on a different server basically. That's a problem. Now the simplest solution that I can think to that problem is simply to give everybody who's on Midgard another server transfer token so that they can transfer off, but they're going to be very reluctant to do that because players want to play on a popular server because that's where the players are, and unfortunately because there's no cross-realm outpost rush and stuff like that, the population of your server is very important. And then the second core problem is that because a lot of the players want this populated server, a lot of the other servers are now essentially dying off. Even if they hadn't decided to transfer, well, they're probably going to want to consolidate at some point and go on a different server. It was a little bit insane for me to log in today and have a queue of like 30 minutes because, you know, server transfers. Now I haven't seen this replicate elsewhere, but I've got to presume that it's going to happen in the US East and stuff like that. They'll probably have a discussion amongst themselves as a player base and move to one particular server, and that server is probably going to get swamped. I believe, for example, Eden is already closed, so a lot of people can't transfer to that, but you can transfer off it. Now maybe everybody will go to another name server that they all agree upon. I don't really know, but in EU at the moment, it's going to be a really hard sell to play on a server that's not the most popular server. Well, I guess the easiest way to sell it is that, oh well, look, there's no queue. But now that you've got guilds that are like half on one server and half on another, they're going to want to get matched together, and the people who aren't on Midgard are eventually going to transfer over. It's just going to always remain a full server basically, unless we can get people off Midgard. But as an original Midgardian, like, I don't want to be like, hey guys, you've got to leave. That would be ridiculous. I understand why they're there and it makes complete sense. Now, this problem I believe was Amazon's making yet again. And the reason for that is that they simply did not do enough server merges. Quite frankly, the player numbers on some servers was still too low after the merges, ranging from 300 to maybe like 600. Those servers should have got extra merges before the server transfer token was given out. Ideally, I would have liked to have seen all the servers be approximately, I don't know, 1,200 to maybe 1,500 players. If you have all of the servers about the same level, then the transfer is more just getting to the place where you wanted to be originally, rather than, hey, I'm going to go and play with the most popular people. Because honestly, a lot of these guilds and people are moving over, not because they have friends on this server, but because it is the most popular server and that population actually matters. So this is a problem. It's not yet happened to other regions, I believe, but it could be happening right now for all I know, and it is a worry. How EU is going to solve this, I don't know. You've got people saying, oh well, I'm stuck on a server that I'm not supposed to be on because I have my guilds in Midgard, therefore I might have to quit until I can transfer it over. Then you've got other people who are on low population servers, and it's like, well, if I can't get to play with everybody else, maybe I'm not going to play the game. I really want Amazon to react as quickly as possible to this, otherwise I think it could cause some lasting damage, and that's definitely not what we want. The simplest solution that I can see is to give everybody yet another server transfer token and to announce some server merges so that they know where to go basically. Give them a recommended server. And then quickly, I just talk about the PTR because there's been some interesting developments on there. The first one really is that the mutation orbs are now going to be available once every 3 days rather than 7 days. Fishing is going to be easier to level up. Cooking aptitude is going to be a little bit harder to get. It looks like the faction faction quests in REEKWATER and Shattered Mountain are actually going to give gypsum orbs, or probably like once a day or something like that. There's a couple of changes to combat, but I haven't yet been able to test them. Apparently you're going to be able to sprint a little bit quicker after doing an attack, which could make the game feel a lot smoother, and they've slightly reduced the slide on the dodge that was in the PTR. All very exciting changes. I'm pretty happy for them in concept. We'll have to wait and see how they play out in the game. But yeah, this transfer debacle I think could have been solved by Amazon. They should have seen this coming. They almost did see this coming, but they didn't do enough steps to prevent something like this happening. And now some players are on a server where I've got a queue again, which is like, do I really want that in my life? Some players are stuck on a server where their guild is no longer there because they've half transferred over, and some players are stuck on essentially dead servers. So really, we need to see action, and we need to see action very quickly. Before you all comment about my eyes, yes, I'm tired in this video, and yes, my eyes are weird anyway. Anyway, come and follow me on Twitch. Have a nice day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.